I had glued up this piece over here, and this is my yellow border that I might put around the chessboard. I'm not sure, but I really got it clamped up. So I'll be taking off all the clamps now, if I can. So this is the yellow board. I'm probably going to strip maybe 3/8 inch and use this as a contrasting color between the chessboard and the cherry surround that I plan on doing. So I could use a big saw to do the rip, but I'm just going to use my little one here. I got it already set up for the right size with the fast system. So here we go. So I think that will make a nice border. So now I got my 4 strips of my yellow heart, and this will be used with my border. Between each one of the sawing, I had run this over a sanding block that I have that's 25 inches long. And that makes sure that these edges are nice and smooth, and when they're butt, there won't be any gap in there. The next part is we gotta start gluing up all these pieces. So I glued already 2 of them. Well, actually 2 sets of these already up, and we're about ready to go in here. And you can see how I'm gluing up the other sections here. Once that's done, then we can put all 4 of them together. So we're going to put all of this together on a 3/4 inch substrate of MDF, and that will ensure stability. I've already got a 1/4 inch MDF here, plus the 1/16 of an inch wood. It's going to be heavy and strong. That's what we're going for. So we're going to try a little bit of a dry fit here. My sides are going to be cherry, I think. That's what I got over here. And I want to make sure that I can have 2 rows of chess pieces on either side, which makes it standard. So since the chessboard takes about 18 inches, these 2 of these take up about 1.5 inches, and then 4.5 inches for the side pieces. That makes 28 inches total for the side. So we're going to do a little bit of a dry fit here and see how it works out. So I'm going to put this piece in here because I want a yellow border, and then put these pieces in like that. That I glued up previously. I'm not gluing these in yet. I'm not quite sure yet what we want to do with them. So we have that, and then we're going to do a border here, remember? Something like that. And then we're going to have that together. So, okay, but now you notice that the height is a little bit wrong. Let's move this out and put another piece in here, because that's how that's going to look. So that's rough, very rough. So I got a couple of different decisions to make. One, I could reduce the size of these guys and plane them down a bit and make them flush with the board. And that's probably the better way to do it. Or I could do something like measure this. Measure the differential, 0.3460, 0.3520, 0.340. So I could put a shim in that's the right thickness, and then bring up the board so that it would end up to be fairly flush. And I could do it that way, but that makes it an air gap and I can hear things. So I'm not sure I really want to do that. I think I'd be a lot happier just to trim these guys down on the planer. So I can knock off the difference on the planer, and that's a lot of wood to plane out. But yeah, I can do it. All right, well, we'll see what I can think about. So I did decide that I'm going to shove these guys down, and that will lighten this up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these while I'm going to be cutting these in a few minutes. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is get these strips of parchment paper. I'm going to put this down so that the glue doesn't stick to the board. And I've got this board clamped down just as an edge guide, nothing more. So I'm going to do that, and then I will get the next guy in place, make sure he's 3/4. I got these things labeled. And some glue down. And the next thing I'm going to do is take my tool and go make sure I get a nice distribution of glue on this whole edge here, because that's, after all, is going to be the strength of this thing. So let's do that, get that all the way in. Make sure it's lined up correctly on both sides, as good as I can. And then I'm going to put a clamp on it. And that should, well, before I put the clamp on, let's go ahead and put the next piece of paper down. There we go. Now I'm going to make sure everything is lined up as best as I can. I'm going to push it in really hard. Make sure it's lined up again. And clamp. And then I'm going to repeat the clamp for the other side. Hopefully my throat is big enough. And it looks like it is. Barely. Why is it? Oh, I see why. Clean up the glue. Okay, got that done. So we'll let that dry up, and I will go ahead and take care of my side. Well, today is going to be a day. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. So first thing I'm going to do is going to take off all the clamps. Okay, that didn't hurt too much. Now the next thing is this one piece now, and it is. I'm going to take off my parchment. And you can see how the parchment paper prevented any glue from getting onto my main board. Okay, so now I've got one piece, and I'm going to square that away, and it's fairly flat. And I had cut these other pieces out, and it looks like, you know, they're slightly proud like I wanted them to be. So that's going to look okay. And I can remove this piece here as well. This next step is pretty tedious, but here's what I've done so far. I put the red epoxy in, and it's been pretty well absorbed, but I can see where I need to put some more epoxy in to fill in the gaps, which means that it's going to take another day before I can even sand this. So we're looking at tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, this project's going to go on for a while, but I think I can get the vast majority of this thing done today, I hope. So I'm going to put these thin yellow heart accents around, and I've already cut the 45-degree angles on these corners, and I'm going to try, and they all have to be custom fit. I mean, that's the whole object over here, is this is all custom fit. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to glue up this one that I've already done, and apply glue. Love glue. That's what binds everything together, doesn't it? I'm going to make sure that I'm more generous up on top than I am on bottom. And we push this in. And then what I'm going to do to secure it is to use my pin nail gun. If I don't screw it up, I should get a really nice, tight fit. Yeah, I did. It looks pretty good. So now I'm going to have to repeat the process all the way around, and we'll come back after I'm done with that. Okay, this should be the last few finishing things here. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so successfully I have not stabbed myself with the gun. It looks okay. I mean, it's, after the sanding, it should take care of all these other little issues I got. And it's almost per design. So the next thing I do is I tamp in the brads a little bit more using a copper, just to make sure that they don't protrude. Okay, I've been stressing about this a lot, and I cut the board to the final dimensions I think it should be, and I'm going to go ahead and start to glue up. So whatever happens, happens. That's all I can say. So what I did is I took the board and made my center adjustments over here, and remembering that the white square has to be in the lower right hand corner. So the players are going to be on this side and this side, and we're going to have pieces over here on this side and this side. So I went ahead and I used a red pencil I hope you can see it. If not, well, there's a red pencil mark here. And that's my boundary lines for my gluing. So I'm going to go ahead and start the glue up. The working time. I could have done hot glue, and I thought about that, but I really... Sorry about that, we kind of ran out of card there. So, do a little bit more spreading here. And I think that should be good enough. So take the board. Now I already pre-measured what I needed on this edge here, and it looks like I'm doing okay here. So everything looks squared away. I'm going to put a little bit of weight on this thing just to hold it down for a few minutes, and after lunch I will be ready to do my next stage. Starting to look more and more like a chessboard. So what I did already is I cut the two ends that are going to be there, and I marked which boards, board 1, board 2, board 3, and board 4 over here. And then I got a problem here because I'm not ready yet to fasten these things on, because I got to sand all this down and everything has to be even. So I would normally just glue these down and be done with it, and that's it, and then sand. But I can't. So, because I have to pull these things back out again to do what I want to finish on these. So the only solution that I can come up with that would work somewhat reasonably is to screw them down temporarily. And then when I'm done, I'm going to glue them. So I'm going to use these number 4 screws, and I pre-drilled some holes already in the bottom. If I can find them, I can just do that, and then I will fasten so that lets me go ahead and do any sanding I need to do, and then at the end I will pull all the screws out and I will redo what I need to do with the sides, glue them back on, screw them back on, and I should be in good shape. So for now I'm just going to pre-drill all the holes. So only a few more things left to do for today anyways. I'm going to rotate this up, and I'm going to put the screws on the bottom over here. And that should be about it. So basic chessboard is pretty close to done. Just got a little bit of cleanup. I gotta do this tomorrow. is the sanding day. And then that will take care of this issue, and I think we should be pretty well done. So then we'll start building the base, or I might do that today even. But anyways, that's what I got done today. So take a look.